Alright, so here we are at Flamebender Ka'graz, and our group composition was once again 13 players with 3 healers and the standard 2 tanks. And this fight is, to much be different from all other fights, a spread out fight. Instead of having all the range stack up at one point and move at a certain interval, you want to spread out in this fight, and I'll explain why as I go over the mechanics. So, you start off with Aknor Steelbringer and Flamebender Ka'graz, and Aknor Steelbringer only exists in this fight because Blizzard couldn't think of a good and fancy achievement to put in, so they gave this little ad here, and if you keep him alive then you can get an achievement. However, if you don't want to do the achievement because you're not an overachiever, you just cleave him down really quickly at the start. You don't even have to target him because he doesn't have much health. You can literally just cleave him down with your natural AoE abilities. Other than that, Flamebender Ka'graz starts with 2 abilities, Lava Slash and Summon Enchanted Armament. Now, Lava Slash is the primary reason why you'll be spreading out, as for Lava Slash, Flamebender will target a random ranged player and send a Lava Slash in their direction. It'll create a line of fire on the ground between Flamebender and that ranged player, and that will deal damage over time and also damage the player who it hits. However, it will also chain to any other players within 7 yards of the original target, and then continue to chain to any other players within 7 yards of any player that gets chained by it. So it's really important to not have anybody within 7 yards of you if you get Lava Slashed. And so the range has to stand far enough back from the melee that they're not within 7 yards, and at least 7 yards away from everyone else. Now, the Summon Enchanted Armament, you can see it already. It's this orangey sword that just floats around randomly, and then every like 2 seconds or so does a AoE attack. Really, you just move away from it if it comes near you, and otherwise it's not too big of a deal to counter. Now, at 25 energy, Flamebender Ka'graz gains an ability called Molten Torrent, and this will target a random ranged player and spawn a big circle around them that follows that player. Now, after about 6 seconds, a meteor will come crashing down and damage all players within the circle, and the damage will be split evenly between them. So there are really 2 ways to deal with it. One is have the ranged player run into the melee group so that the tanks and all the melee players get hit and spread the damage out, so that it doesn't one-shot anyone. Or you can move so that you're the only person within the range of the meteor, and use Ice Block or some invincibility cooldown to make it so that you won't take any damage from it, and you survive it by yourself. Now at 50 energy, Flamebender will summon 2 Cinder Wolves, and these 2 Cinder Wolves will be connected by a fire chain, which deals damage to anyone who it touches, so you have to not be standing between the 2 Cinder Wolves. And one of the Cinder Wolves will turn into a bigger one, which is tankable, has threat, and deals fire damage, and the other one will remain small and fixate a random ranged player and follow them around. So the small one has to be kited by whoever it fixates on, and the big one has to be tanked. And these 2 adds will revive each other if they die more than 8 seconds apart, so it's important to DPS them evenly and kill them at close to the same time, or at least within 8 seconds. Now at 75 energy, Ka'graz gains a new ability. It's called Blazing Radiance, and it's another reason to spread out, because Blazing Radiance causes a random player to radiate AoE damage around them, and it doesn't split between players, it just hits everybody around you, so you don't want to be standing near anyone when you have Blazing Radiance. And at 100 energy, Ka'graz uses her final ability, and this final ability is the reason why you want to kill the Cinder Wolves as a priority when they spawn, because her final ability, Firestorm, deals raid-wide damage every half second, and it if the Cinder Wolves are up, then they amplify the raid-wide damage for each Cinder Wolf that is up. So it's important to kill the Cinder Wolves as soon as they spawn, and it's also important to pop raid-wide healing cooldowns when Flamebender Ka'graz reaches 100 energy and does Firestorm, because it does a lot of damage to everybody. that's really all the mechanics there are to the fight. You just basically rinse and repeat. I guess I should mention that after Flamebender Ka'graz does Firestorm, she gains a buff which lasts until she spawns Cinder Wolves that debuffs the tanks and causes them to have to taunt at 2 stacks of the debuff they get. But other than that, it's a pretty simple fight, just rinse and repeat. Once you learn the mechanics and learn how to spread out, it's not going to be too hard to do. And as is tradition, here's the music for the rest of the fight.